writers, happy Monday. Welcome back. We are still joined with the incredible Annette Annechild. Hi, Annette.
Hello there, Jade.
I don't normally do this, but I will say that if you did not see our first installation with Annette, I highly recommend going back there. She taught some tools to help with anxiety and just life in general, I feel like. So I feel like we're going to keep referencing that one. So I really recommend everybody go back and listen to that if you have not. Annette, another giant topic, and that is fear. And not only just fear, this is something I see all the time where people are about to reach out to clients and about to start this journey. And all I see is all the reasons why they shouldn't even reach out to the client, right? Because what if this and what if that and what if that? And it's become so overwhelming that it stunts anything from happening, any growth, anything. So any advice, and maybe frame it up like what is happening and then advice for how to move through or move past what they might be feeling and experiencing.
Sure. Well, as a writer myself, I will say that I think writing is the most difficult thing to do in the world. I had a friend who was a writer and he goes, writing's easy. You just sit down and sweat blood. It's really hard to write at times. Now, at other times, if you're a writer, you've also perhaps experienced like just flowing out of you. I wrote an entire book. I felt like it was out of body. It just came out. And other times I can't get a paragraph down on a white piece of paper. So writing is difficult, but it's so perfect for our topic. Because first of all, to be a writer, you have to be a dreamer. You have to be. To dream something is going to come out of you and touch other people and that you're going to be able to express yourself is a wonderful dream, right? It's an artistic haven for many of us and difficult. The thing that makes it difficult is the mind, right? The mind that's constantly doing whatever it wants to do with you. And if you have a background where people did not believe in you or thought your ideas were crazy or you should get a real job or whatever it is, that's what's in there. We call it the inner monologue. And you really see it in how children are raised. If children are raised in super supportive things that are very imaginative, and then they play instruments, they paint, they write easily. There's no pressure because they believe in themselves and that they can do all these things. If, on the other hand, you were brought up in an environment that was more difficult and didn't have those assets, easy to think, why would anybody want to read what I write? Or that person's not going to be nice to me. So again, kind of picking up where we left last time, it's how to control this, right? Fear, and I love that the yogis say it's faith or fear. You can't be in both at the same time. You have to pick. So fear is anxiety, just with more of a message, right? So generalized anxiety is when all of a sudden you just don't feel good and you're just like starting to spin a bit. Fear is when it attaches to something. That person's going to reject me, tell me I'm a lousy writer, this dream's going to die. I'd rather not even attempt it because maybe I can hold on to the idea of it and not really manifest it, right? So again, one of the things the yogis taught me is to set an intention for the day. The last time we talked about developing a practice, which is 5 minutes morning and night of breath work, of just meditating. And then setting an intention for the day could be a great next step. So we sit down, we do this triangle breathing. We talked about 3 in, 6 out, no breath, sitting for 5 minutes. And then perhaps at the end of the 5 minutes, swirl, at the end of the 5 minutes, we set this intention. My intention every day is to just love and serve. It's a wonderful intention because it kind of takes you off the hook of outcome. The yogis talk about effort, not outcome. You can't really control outcome. Whether a book gets published or your writing gets purchased, you can't really control the outcome, but you can control the effort. And the effort is a service. All of us that write, I believe, are loving and serving. The part, we want to communicate something. And that's a service to other people. I mean, I don't think there's any better compliment than somebody saying, I read what you wrote and it helped me. I mean, to me, that just was absolutely the world when I was, writing wellness books and somebody would say, it really changed my life. Wow. And we'll never know what our writings do. It could be somebody buys something that's good for them because you wrote the copy. It could be anything. But if we say, just let me love and serve, the onus is taken off of us. The fear lessens because we're not tied to, if I don't get this deal, I'm a loser. It's too much pressure, right? So we want to think of ourselves as like a vehicle of love and service in the world. And that might sound so esoteric and unbelievable, but I've been living it for many years. And I will tell you, if you live that way, it changes your very nature. Like, I feel like my own personality got sweeter and softer and calmer. My voice went lower. I mean, it really makes a significant difference when you're not living in fear.
Yeah.
Fear's like a war that's going on, especially for writers.
Yeah.
Should I write this? Should I send it in? Should I make that call? Should I open this envelope or open this email? Right? Because we're so afraid of the rejection.
Yes.
And the truth is, we're all going to get rejected somewhere. It can be by people, it can be by companies, it can be by your children. There is rejection in life. If we don't personalize it and we say to ourselves, I'm just trying to love and serve, it kind of helps us get through those difficult moments, because those are difficult moments, just no doubt about it.
Mhm. I also think anybody that might dismiss this or say, like you said, it's too esoteric, it's like, why not try it? Because living in fear and that constant fear of non-action is obviously not working, right? So why not just give this way a try and see what happens? I also think that it's like a value that's placed outside of ourselves a lot. Like, so I need that client's approval, I need them accepting me, I need the approval of my writing, which is so outside of ourselves. And so again, like we talked about that control last week, that you're losing it. But if you are here, like you say, to love and serve, and you believe that your writing is here to serve, and it's like, if that didn't work out, then this is not the vehicle that I'm serving through or in, so the one that is going to work out is going to be the best vehicle for how I serve and how I add to the world in like a beautiful, positive way. And I think that it can also maybe release some of that, like, that when it doesn't work out for me, that it's meant to be, as cliche as that can often be. But if you're so focused on that intention, I feel like it lines up with who you're meant to meet, and it just all falls into place.
Well, I think you bring up a good point, which is really acceptance and surrender, because as you mentioned earlier, we don't have much we control. We just don't.
Yes.
We don't control life and death. I mean, that's the big overriding fear that in America, we don't even talk about. That's why most people don't even have wills or any estate planning, because it's very hard to face that in a culture that doesn't embrace it. Whereas, again, back to the village that we spoke about in our last time, you have a lot of support. So you're around aging people, and it's a whole different feeling about aging and death than we have in America. I'm a baby boomer. We just deny it. We thought if we ate right, we'd live forever. So it's something of, how do I get the best life I can? I'm very pragmatic. And just what you're saying, why not try it? That's how I felt. When I fell into this Eastern thought, I was in my 20s. I was an actress in New York. I had no interest in any of this. But thankfully, I fell into a yoga class and I experienced a moment of peace, which I had never experienced before. I was so anxious, terrifically anxious person, and it manifested in all kinds of crazy ways. And I experienced a moment without that. And that's what brought me back. And I thought, I don't know what just happened in there, but I need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it changed my entire life. I had no idea the seed that I was planting and watering day and night with this practice would turn out to be really my story.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought out a much sweeter side of my nature, because you can't really be competitive if you're in service. If you're in service, right?
Yes, so good.
It's taking the judgment out of it. I mean, Americans really struggle with the idea that we must win, we must produce. And it's a lot. as opposed to more of the European and Eastern way, is kind of flowing with what is. Like if you're the son of a bellman, you'll become the bellman. And if your husband owns the hotel, he's not considered to be more powerful than the waiter. I mean, it's just not the way we live. So I think the blend of Eastern and Western thought is kind of the best of both worlds. Americans are known for our technology and our push and our drive, which is wonderful, but not at our own expense. Right? So before I could be here for you and your listeners, I had to take care of me, which leads us into self-care, which is another topic we may go into maybe even another time. But I can tell everyone that breathing morning and night, having a place in your house that's considered your little vortex of peace, does more for your life than probably anything else you can do today, so that you care for yourself. We're not very good at comforting. We're good at beating ourselves up. Like if you miss a deadline, it's like, I'm an idiot. But if you make the deadline, I see very few people going, good work. It's easy to be negative about ourselves. Hard to be positive.
It's so funny that you brought up the competition, and you're saying that there's no, when you're serving, there's no competition, because at the end of the day, all it is again is with yourself, right? The winning or the losing of the writing or the getting the clients or the aspiration, whatever your aspiration is, the only winning and losing is in yourself. There's actually nobody on either side of that. So when you said that, I was like, that blew my mind. So true. It's so good.
It's really how we hold life. Right? It's how we hold it, because the situations come and go and change so much that you're establishing, I think, by this kind of work, sort of a way to hold it so that we can bear our losses, so that we can celebrate our wins, and that we can be at peace with the fact that a lot of life is in the middle of those two things, right? Being able to see the world new every day. Like I have this beautiful backyard and I never want to get used to it. I never want to take it for granted. I never want to walk back here and not see it as though for the first time, because those are the things that fill you up. And if you're a writer, we need to be filled up. Writing can be a lonely task. So we have to engage things that pull us in, because we're not sitting traditionally in an office surrounded by people and telling stories and being at the water cooler. Our lives are more solitary.
Wow, Annette.
We have to be our own best friends.
Yes, there's so many. I mean, I don't feel like these are normally sessions if you want to take notes, but I feel like there's so many like tidbits in this. Like the fact that you said that writers are dreamers, like that hit me to my core. I hope everybody takes it, because that's so beautiful and so special. And then can you remind me the wording you use for like the release where you're not holding on to results? What was the wording you used?
It's effort, not outcome.
Okay. Effort, not outcome.
Because all you can control is effort.
Yes. And then like I hope everybody takes this final piece of this and takes the competition out of it, because I do feel like if there's no winning or losing, then the fear has got to be diminished at least somewhat, So I hope you all see that. And if it's meant to be and it aligns with what you're serving, it'll come into your life and it'll match up and it'll feel really good as well, which hopefully brings down that fear piece as well. And then again, everything all comes back to that, your practice, and to do your breath work, and to give yourself the gift of 5-10 minutes a day to really cope with this. Because just like how you were saying last time that the practice is never going to be perfect, today I think it's very important to realize we're not saying life is going to be perfect. It's life is going to happen, and then these tools are going to help you cope with that life.
That's right, because life is hard for everybody. And even though Facebook would maybe tell you that it's not, or Instagram, I see it every day in very successful people. They have the same problems as my less successful people, because the outside world can't really change your inside world. Only you can.
Ooh, mic drop. I'm going to leave it right there. And next, we're going to bring up, I think we'll pick up the topic of self-care in our next session. But thank you so much for this. Oh, so good. So good. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye, everyone.